Hi, everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is
Literature on the Rocks.
How's everyone doing?
So good.
so good.
Yeah.
It's a
Samesies.
And a nod to our book today. I have a list of some weird laws. It says they're real or mostly real. So
Was it from chat?
yes.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
let's-
So, fact check us, but
But it says real or mostly real.
If you're from these places, let
Yeah,
us know.
right? Let us know.
So some global laws. In Milan, Italy, people are technically required to smile at all times, except at funerals or hospitals.
I think I'd mostly be able to do
I was
that.
just going to say, I feel like I would be in compliance on that one.
Yeah.
I got a mean resting bitch face, so I don't know. We'll see if I get fined when I go.
If I'm like personal, like in my office or something, or at home, I wouldn't be required to. It's just when I'm out and about.
Yeah, but you're
I basically walk the streets like this. Hello, hi, how are you doing?
I do not.
Somebody did walk into my office this past week and was like, oh, you're really concentrating. And I was like, is it because I'm not smiling? That's rude. But I was really concentrating.
My son, I'm sorry, I know we're talking about the laws, but my son did walk into class one day, or the school, we were walking to school, and he's like, hey, Camila! Hey, Justin! Oh, hi, Walter! Hey! Right, like it was like, I'm like, who is this child? He's just like walking like, hey, oh, you want to go play later? All right, catch you on the slide.
Catch you on the slide.
In parts of Sweden, dog owners must walk their pets at least 3 times a day or they'll be fined.
How would they know if you didn't walk your pet 3 times
I don't know,
a day?
but the fact that they're giving you that time, take me
but
over
are
to Sweden.
they-
Yeah,
Are
it's a
they,
law
though?
in Sweden? I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, I have to go home to
I
walk
need to
my
go
dog.
walk my dog now. So, and they'll be like, pip pip, or whatever the fuck Swedes say. I don't know about this one.
Okay.
But it makes me concerned about what caused it to be a law. In England and Wales, it's technically illegal to handle salmon in suspicious circumstances.
Ew.
How are they handling the salmon? What caused
is
this law?
Suspicious
Okay.
salmon handling situation.
Are you handling it with your dick? Like what?
Gross. Ew, gross. I hate that. What I imagined was back in the day, there was that VeggieTales movie, and there was like the peas that caught the fish. And they're like, what? It was fresh when we caught it.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
And then they like start slapping each other with the fish.
Ew.
They're like,
Yes.
VeggieTales was such a weird show.
I still love it.
It was so
That's
weird.
the only one that I remember is the fish, and I can quote it.
Yeah.
Here we
right?
are.
We used to say it all the time. I feel
know.
like. But that was handling salmon suspiciously.
Inappropriately. Yeah. Okay, let's see. These are some U.S. ones.
Okay.
In Vermont, it is technically illegal to whistle underwater.
Oh, damn. I do that all the time. I'd definitely be arrested.
How can you
do that?
Because
You need
It's because
an
it killed
inhale.
somebody one time.
okay.
Oh, maybe.
Some states have laws and still have traces of them requiring a delay in finalizing a divorce if a spouse is pregnant. That's not a weird law. That's pretty common, I feel like. And in a lot of states, you have to get blood
Like-
tested before you get married to make sure you're
yeah.
not blood relatives.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
And in
that's
some
so
states, they're like, keep it in the family. We just wanted to validate.
keep the heritage
I wonder
strong.
what you're talking about when you say validate. But I will say, I feel like from being a pregnant woman, there's shit going on. I would appreciate that law. Like, can you just wait till she has a baby and like give her like 3 more months? And then she might be more herself.
Or she might stab you.
Yeah.
I mean, give her a few months and then she might just stab you,
see.
so there's no need to divorce.
So that's fine.
We'll
It's
just
fine.
work on your funeral
Just
now.
figure it out.
Okay, these are some that are debated, so they're not quite sure if they're actual laws.
Okay.
They're just debated out in the world. In some places, you can't carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket. Who the fuck is carrying an ice cream cone in their back pocket?
Okay, is it
that
just
should be
stating
illegal
that?
everywhere.
Wait, is it just the cone? It doesn't have ice cream in it.
I don't know.
It's
It's-
just the crumbled up cone.
Ew, why would I want that in my bag? That, again, illegal. Should be. Agreed. Make it illegal everywhere. This is what our president should be focusing on.
These are the
Don't worry
troubling
about people's
issues.
documentation. You should worry about the psychopaths carrying around ice cream cones in their back pockets.
These are the topics of our politics that need to be
gosh.
addressed.
We need answers.
Okay, here's another one. Old tales claim laws like illegal to mispronounce Arkansas or illegal to make furniture nude exist. Like you can't have a nude couch.
No, like you can't create the piece of furniture
Oh,
while wearing
shit.
no clothing.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Your tallywhacker is all
Tallywhackers.
Why has it got to be someone with a tallywhacker making furniture?
Your tots are on.
I'm like, oh, I almost got a nip.
Too close to the drill.
That splatter is me. This is a one-of-a-kind chair.
Blood. Got
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
blood. No, you're not aroused while making this furniture. There are also towns with local ordinances prohibiting piling horse manure above a certain height. I feel like that's
Just like an olden day
They had to
rule.
make it a law because people just don't have common sense.
and they were sculpturing horse feces up the side of an 8-foot building. They were like, you know what? Let's take it to the top. Bring the crane, Jimison.
Shimmerson.
How
You go to
far?
the manure statue.
Make a left.
But what are those things? You know how people do like the sandcastle competitions or the
A
like
shit crafting
you
competition.
going to the shit crafting competition?
You going to manure mayhem this summer?
Manure mayhem. Yeah.
That's a good one.
See you there, Jacob.
Taking shit to a new level.
Not too high though. We don't want to get.
Oh yeah, we don't want to get fined. We don't take it that high.
is too funny.
Ridiculous.
We are. This was a ridiculous conversation.
Yeah,
I
it was.
enjoyed
I'm so happy about it. Speaking of government oversight, let's
Yes.
talk about the Ministry of Time.
Yes, let's
Good
do
job.
it.
Wow, we're reading The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley. I can't get rid of the Southern accent anymore.
Who dog?
Kaliane Bradley. She did the Ministry of Time.
She done diddly did it.
You know, I think about these poor Southern people. They have such a bad rap.
I like it.
I love it.
Talk
It's great.
Southern to me, baby. Anyways,
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
All right. The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley.
Yes.
Hit us with an author bio.
All right. So, Kaliane Bradley is a British Cambodian writer and editor whose debut novel was The Ministry of Time. Before becoming a novelist, Bradley worked in publishing as an editor, where she developed her style for storytelling. She began her career writing short fiction and gained early recognition after winning the Harper's Bazaar Short Story Prize. Bradley has shared that she began writing The Ministry of Time during COVID-19 lockdown, initially as a creative diversion while obsessing over the Franklin Polar Expedition, which was a doomed 19th century Arctic voyage, after watching an AMC series called The Terror. So she was watching this show during lockdown, and it sparked this novel. What started as playful writing for friends eventually grew into a full novel, shaped by her fascination with unfinished history, time, and displacement. Bradley lives in London and keeps her personal life pretty private. Couldn't find a whole lot about her private life, but outside of writing, she has spoken about her deep interest in history, speculative storytelling, and consuming books, film, and television. All right, so this book summary.
Yeah.
So Ministry of Time follows an unnamed British civil servant who is referred to as the Bridge. She is recruited into a secret government program designed to house and monitor people pulled from different points in history. Her job is to help one of these expats acclimate to modern life. So she explains technology, social norms, and the strange realities of the present, all while reporting back to the ministry. As she grows closer to her assigned charge, the story becomes less about time travel logistics and more about relationships, power, and displacement. The novel explores what it means to belong in a world that wasn't built for you, how institutions manage people under the guise of care, and how intimacy forms under artificial and controlled conditions.
Let's talk about that cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the cocktail, we are calling it the Gentle Letdown. The ingredients are 1.5 ounce butterfly pea flower gin, 1 1/4 ounce pineapple juice, 3/4 of an ounce elderflower liqueur, 3/4 of an ounce fresh lemon juice. So what we told chat that we wanted was we wanted it to use the pea flower gin because we've experienced it changing colors before. And so it was like, yeah, it'll start purpley blue color and then it'll change when we put the lemon juice in it. We settled on the Gentle Letdown as a name because, well, the book, but also because if you watch the being made, the change of color didn't happen as greatly as we wanted. It went from
gray to
grayish.
beige.
Yeah.
Grayish.
Yeah. So anyways, but we wanted that time, like the time change to kind of be shown by the color change, and it just didn't work. So it's a little bit of a gentle letdown, but let's go.
All right,
Cheers. Cheers.
Can I read?
Oh, I think I need to stir mine, but it's not bad. It's pretty good. You don't like
It tastes like iron.
what? It tastes like
Are you deficient?
maybe because maybe you could taste the aluminum in the pineapple juice, like because it was in a can.
Oh.
I definitely taste that. Licking aluminum.
I
Aluminium.
don't taste the aluminum, but I know some people are more sensitive to it.
I like it.
No, yeah, I think I like it.
Definitely do not like it.
It does have a little bit of a twang.
I feel like it's got. I could taste like floral notes for sure. The
Yes, me too.
elderflower and the gin.
Definitely getting periodic table out of this one.
All right, let's jump into this summary. So let's just start off real strong. My chump is the first chump, and it's the interlude through chapter 2. Why are there only 9 chapters in this book?
Yeah, that-
9
Each of
something.
them were about 77 hours long.
I have found more recently, it's because we've had back-to-back books
Yes,
like
yes,
this,
yes.
where it's less
Longer.
chapters, bigger chunks in the
Yes,
chapter, and I don't like it.
I would rather have it the opposite. I'd
Yes.
rather have short chapters that are 3-minute reads, which that even I don't love, but I definitely like it better than. So I'm going to start with the interlude. You don't have any information, especially at the top of this book, but an unidentified man is walking in the Arctic on the verge of death. He hears a cannon fire in the distance, which is a signal from his ship. That's all
That's
that
it.
happens. That's it. Now
That
we're-
was 4 hours long.
It was not. The interludes are super short.
The interludes are short, and there are a few throughout the
So
book.
I guess this book does only have a handful of chapters, but there is an equal amount of interlude chapters. So it's like double, but the chapters are long.
The interludes are little
blips.
breaths of fresh air, honestly.
And sometimes you don't know what air
You
you're
don't
breathing.
Yeah.
I think you're drowning half the time.
It's underwater. It's not air.
All right, so then we go into the first real chapter. We're in present day, and we're in London. The unnamed narrator. I didn't realize she didn't have a name until 3/4 of the way in.
Actually, I didn't know it until I started reading Chumps.
The unnamed narrator undergoes interviews for a top secret, high paying job. She already works for this government, whatever it is, but she's trying to apply to keep moving up this corporate ladder. And it's with the British government agency called the Ministry. In her final interview, she meets the Vice Secretary of Expatriation. Adela is her name. So the narrator is offered the position and learns the Ministry has access to time travel. She is assigned to work with expats. These are people extracted from the past, and she will monitor one closely for a year to study the effects of time travel. The role is called a bridge. Now, she does mention, like, you don't really need to know how time travel works to have this job, but just know we're doing some time travel stuff. However, do they go into how it works and it doesn't make any sense? Because she talks about how they had to pull people that were potentially going to die.
But that's basically what it is. They pull
It's like,
people.
we don't want to alter history, so we're going to pull people and test them that were already written in history as dead.
Yeah,
Right.
and the extraction point was right before they
Dead,
died.
Yes. So they basically are saving these people's lives to take them however many years forward into the future for them, and then see how they react and how they can adjust in
And if
present
there's
day.
any like medical stuff that happened because of the time travel.
Right.
And they're all
yeah.
pulled from like varying parts of history. So like
Yes.
1700s, 1800s. They're not all
Right.
pulled from like one specific time period.
And they're not from like 20 years ago either. These are hundreds of years.
Yes.
of years ago. Yeah.
And the bridge, that this is the role she's applying for, is basically her job is to just help one of these people adjust accordingly.
To life.
Yeah, I'm going to answer all the questions.
In the
I'm gonna
21st century.
Yes. She is assigned to Commander Graham Gore of the Royal Navy, born in 1809 and believed to have died in 1847. So the narrator and Graham move into the ministry housing. They live together, basically like apartment mates. Graham marvels at planes and grappling with modern gender norms, and he's horrified by the concept of germs. Like, he won't shower. He only wants a bath because showers are disgusting. And yeah, he's
appalled that they
And
live
he's
in this
like,
house together.
You're a woman. Why are you living
Yeah.
in this house with me? Why?
Yes.
And you work?
Is your man okay with that?
yeah.
And she was like, no, motherfucker. I've got no man.
And then he's even more like, you're a single woman living with a man? Oh
And you
my God,
work?
I'd be disgraced.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even him feeling some type of way. So he learned his Arctic expedition was lost and all 126 men died in 1848 after the ship became trapped in ice. He recalls leaving the ship to hunt and experiencing a flash of lightning and a blue doorway, which he now understands was his extraction. Basically, all these people that were on the expedition with him died because it was freezing cold. They had no food.
They were
And there
trapped.
was even potentially like some cannibalism and things like that. And he's like, never. They would never do such a
They
thing.
were literally traversing the Arctic on foot because their ship went down and this was their only survival, and it was grim.
Restricted from going out in public initially, Graham spends his time reading, learning about the modern world, and listening to music on Spotify. He also learns about the other expats, identified by the extraction years, 1645. So they basically call each other what year they're from. A man taken from the First English Civil War. 1665 is a woman taken from the Great Plague of London. 1793 is a woman from revolutionary Paris with troubling psychological profile. In 1916, an army captain taken from the battlefields of World War I. Graham is referred to as 1847. Also, when you're reading this book, there is a lot of British history.
Yes.
So if you're not familiar with it, some of it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know what's happening in Britain and England, right? Like, I don't follow
Our
their
world history classes are very minimal.
Yeah.
In the
it's
US.
like a year in high school for world history, and then the rest is whatever you're living. Then we go into an interlude. It's 1847. Graham returns to his ship after a day of unsuccessful hunting. His crew has discovered their tinned rations are rotten. The ships have been trapped in ice for 2 years, and the sickly crew will not survive another winter unless rations are reduced, so they are unlikely to survive. There are some locals that live, like
The Inuits.
yeah, and they help as much as they can, but they can't take on all of his soldiers. Back to present day, Graham and the narrator meet with Quentin, the narrator's handler, which is basically, I think, her
boss at the
her
ministry.
boss. Quentin expresses concern about cognitive impairment in Graham. Arthur Reginald Smith, he's 1916, still thinks he's in World War I. Graham meets the other expats and quickly bonds with Arthur. Arthur and his bridge, Semelia, plan to take Graham to a bar, and he invites the narrator to join them. The narrator meets with Semelia to discuss the outing. The narrator decides not to attend to avoid overwhelming Arthur. Like, because he's adjusting. She doesn't want to overwhelm him.
With like, oh, I'm a
Too many
stranger.
people. Yeah.
Even though you're going to be at a public bar.
You're right. After Graham returns, the narrator explains modern perspectives on racism and systemic inequality over drinks.
There's
So they
a
have a drink
lot
together.
of things to learn in the last 200 years that have changed.
Not even just like, I mean, the government, the way people are. There's so much.
If you think about how much things change over like 5 years,
Yeah.
imagine hundreds of years.
I know. I always think about people coming out of like jail, and how hard that is to assimilate into like the current
Society.
technology and society. I can only imagine.
So Graham notes the narrator's multi-ethnic heritage, something she usually avoids emphasizing. But she talks about it throughout the entire book.
But she doesn't like other people. Like, she tries to shrink her
Mixed race.
non-Britishness.
It depends on what group, what crowd she's in. Like, if she's talking to more, because she talks about being Cambodian and...
Well, even like her interview, there's like a lot of racist undertones because they're like, "Oh, your mother was an immigrant. How did that affect you?" And she was like, "I'm not an immigrant, and I don't
born
really
here."
think about that."
Yeah, and she talks about how she doesn't really look Cambodian. Like,
Yeah,
she
she's
looks...
white passing.
Yes, so she can often just get away with it or whatever. The ministry's wellness team begins weekly experiments to evaluate the expats while the bridges observe. Graham grows bored and restless while undergoing a routine MRI. The narrator meets a uniformed officer she calls the brigadier. she immediately dislikes him.
She like runs into him in the hallway and he's a real dick.
Yeah. The narrator starts developing romantic feelings for Graham, which isn't super obvious. But maybe that's just because I did.
I think she talks a little bit about like how he looks and how he's kind of like strapping and like strong.
Yeah.
So you get these like little vibes of like, oh, she kind of thinks he's cute because he's got a good physique and he's actually kind of charming in his 1800s kind of way.
Yeah. They have been smoking cigarettes here and there together.
Yes.
And because
He's
he comes over-
appalled that a woman is smoking.
well, she's like, I haven't smoked in a long time, and really smoking is really not
for
accepted
you.
anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's so bad. But I have this hidden thing of cigarettes I haven't needed for a while. They might be old. But then she starts to buy him cigarettes, and then every once in a while she'll smoke with him. And she's like, I'm kind of picking up on this habit again. Don't tell my friends because they'll be disgusted by me. After she has his like whatever with the brigadier,
Yeah. She's like, had a shit day.
I've had a shit day. I'm going to go out in the porch. He comes out and he's like, that's a funny smelling cigarette. And she's like, let me introduce you to marijuana. And they end up smoking it together. He expresses his want for a dog. Well, he also kind of talks about like, I wish they had this back in my day.
Where do you get this herb from?
Yeah, right?
Actually from the earth, and it's probably around at your time.
Yeah.
Just didn't know about it. Wrong
Yeah.
part of the world.
You were bartering for the wrong things with the Inuit.
Yeah, right? So Graham expresses that he wants a dog in his hopes that he and the narrator are friends. Graham asks her about a strange handheld device he saw at the ministry that projects information. She doesn't know about it. She doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, she's
It's
like, what? And so he like draws it for her.
Yeah.
She's like, I have no idea what
I
you're
don't know
talking
what
about.
you're talking about. Graham sketches a device, but the narrator doesn't recognize it at all. Which he is very old school. So while she might be, because it's her point of view, you could tell that she's like, there are some things that she's like, oh yeah, he's an attractive man. Oh, he's kind of a gentleman. But he is very much so old school, and he's like, don't talk to me. Like, keep your distance. And right, it's just a different time, really. But
And then we jump into the next set of interludes and chapters from interlude 3 to chapter 4. So in the interlude in 1847, Graham is reflecting on the suffering of his crew. He's missing his life before the expedition, but he reassures himself that he will succeed on the next hunt. Like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to find a seal my men are going to eat. Jumps into the present, and the narrator keeps the sketch that Graham made of this projection device, and she goes and shows it to Quentin, who's her boss, her handler, and he reacts with visible panic. He crumbles it and warns her, like, because they're in his office, and he's like, the ministry offices are bugged. Get this away from me. So she's like, oh, that's weird. He's just being paranoid. It's
like
weird.
he keeps feeling like, almost like he's just getting more and more paranoid about some things.
Yeah, like, that's odd. So she leaves it alone. The ministry assessments expand to include empathy tests using images of modern atrocities. So the expats get deeply disturbed by the images of World War I destruction, and the ministry decides to delay exposing them to Hiroshima, Auschwitz, and the 9/11 attacks. Like, oh, if World War I was that traumatizing for you, let's back it up a bit.
Let's not expose you to the rest of the trauma that this world has been dealing with.
Which is interesting because 1914 is from World War I.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, that's my life.
He's like, oh, but then like how it ends.
But he died, so he probably didn't see the whole World War I
play out.
play out.
So the bridges also start undergoing assessments as well. Adela appears to suspect the narrator of developing an inappropriate romantic attachment to Graham. So the ministry begins weekly group dinners with the expats and their bridges. At one dinner, the narrator grows jealous because she believes that Graham is flirting with 1665. Margaret or Maggie. Maggie is warm and sociable, and after surviving a severe heat wave with rationed water and air conditioning, the narrator teaches Graham how to ride a bicycle. Like, they're trapped inside and it's sweltering out, and he's like, can we please just go out? She's like, all right, I'll teach you how to ride a bike. The narrator discovers that Adela has been discarding the bridge's weekly reports without reading them. She like walks into the vice secretary's office and sees her report unopened in the trash. And she's like, why the fuck is this in the trash can?
Yeah, like, do you know how much I worked
nothing.
on this? Yes.
Yeah, like for you to just not even read them, what's the
Yeah.
point? So during a meeting, Ralph, who is another bridge, admits he's been struggling with Maggie because she's a lesbian. So later, Graham tells the narrator about his close friendship with Robert McClure, who clung to him and cried nightly from loneliness during their voyage. And basically he alludes that there was an intimate relationship with Robert.
Yeah, because all these people, they could potentially have, just in the era that they were living in, it wasn't something that was widely accepted to be
Or talked
discussed,
about.
or it was all hush hush and frowned upon and disgusting,
Which
and
is
blah.
crazy because it's been around for centuries.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I mean, and she does kind of touch on that there's a chance that they might be gay, but they're ashamed of it, and they are, right? Because it's definitely not allowed in 1914 and prior.
Yeah. So the narrator's unsure how to interpret his story, and she's like, is he telling me he likes men now? Or that's just like a thing that they did because they
Yeah.
needed to get the rocks off?
Or like even if it was just an emotional thing where they
Like,
had an emotional connection and
to this man. And
yeah.
so we took it there. But also at some points, Graham is like, no, I'm a virgin. She's like, well, you told me about Robert. And he's like, that doesn't count. It was a man.
Yeah.
So the narrator receives an email citing irregularities with an expat's medical scan, and then a follow-up email quickly retracts the claim. Like, don't worry about that. That was missent. Don't read that. But it was basically saying that when they're not detected through metal detectors and certain things. So at Quentin's request, the narrator calls him from a payphone, and he reveals that 1793 no longer appears on body scanners. And he asks about the projection device, but he hears a click on the line. And he's like, oh, did you hear that? And he just hangs up. He
not secure.
Yeah, I gotta go. Then it jumps to an interlude. Graham has gone hunting again, but comes up short, and he's overcome by thirst. He turns back to his ship, and he sees something, and he shoots at it because he believes it's a seal, and the cry that follows after the shot lands sounds very human. And then it jumps back to present, and the narrator attempts to email Quentin, but the message bounces back as undeliverable. Shortly afterward, Adela calls and says Quentin is temporarily unavailable, and the narrator realizes she's being closely monitored by the ministry. Like, you just called. I just sent that email. How did you know I sent it?
Yep.
Expats are now able to travel freely within mainland Britain, only if they pass climatization tests. During a celebration for Graham passing his tests, the narrator recognizes she has fallen in love with him.
And then we jump to my section, which is Interlude 5 and Chapter 6.
Only 2 chapters at a time.
The interlude jumps to 1847. The man Graham accidentally killed was an Inuit native, and he proposes leaving gifts of tobacco and steel knives with the body to signal peaceful intent, because they're just kind of traveling through this Arctic area, and the Inuits don't really know what's going on, and they don't want to really upset them. So he's trying to show them, like, hey, we did not mean to kill people. We're really just trying to survive out here.
But when I thought of this, I'm like, if I went to a body and there was just knives on it, I'd be like, this is a threatening message.
This is a sign. We need to attack.
You're coming for me.
And then a group of Inuits kind of approach the ship. And so jumping back to the present, the narrator helps Maggie prepare to retake her acclimatization test because Maggie doesn't pass the first time. And Graham introduces the narrator to Lieutenant Cardingham. The narrator senses Cardingham resents her modern views and authority as a woman. Maggie catches a common cold and nearly dies because she's freaking 700 years old, and these new germs, her body hasn't adjusted
Has
to.
no idea what to expect.
Yes.
Dysentery and the plague is all she had working with.
Scurvy. And this common cold nearly takes her out. So Arthur becomes ill, but he's not as affected by it. And when the narrator gets sick, Graham cares for her, bringing her soup and tending to her in bed.
But she's like, stay away from me. If you catch this,
you could die.
Yeah.
Your body is not used to this common cold situation. But like everybody's getting sick around the ministry right now.
Yes.
And so Graham, being the person that he is like, you know what, I'll take care of you because we live together and I don't want you to be hurt. So he eventually catches the illness as well because he couldn't stay away from her. So then Quentin contacts the narrator and arranges a secret meeting. He reveals the sketch depicts a weapon from the future. And Adela appoints herself as the narrator's new handler. They're finding out, like, there's some crazy shit. I don't know how Graham knows about this, but I'm going to keep a closer watch on you, and I'm going to be more involved with what you have going on. Adela claims the brigadier is a foreign spy whom the ministry had been monitoring, and the expats are expected to obtain jobs after completing their bridge year. Then Graham, behind the narrator's back, takes a ministry field agent exam test.
He's like working towards becoming a field agent.
He wants to be more involved in like the ministry, and he's not really telling the narrator about it. So during a massive storm, she finds Graham coordinating neighborhood emergency efforts using ministry equipment he stole. She realizes how skilled he is at using charm and leadership to his advantage. I mean, the man was in the military and he had a whole group of people working with him. It's not a surprise. But she's kind of shocked at how his skills are still there and still coming up in modern day. During a dinner with the expats, they demonstrate limited control over their detectability.
Which is weird to me. Like, they can decide when they're detected by
Like the
security
body scanners
stuff
and stuff. Yeah. And they kind of describe it as like, I can put my body back in time or I can have it here. And some of us don't have that
weird.
control over it.
It's like a superpower that they have.
Yeah, they're learning how to control their, like, presence.
Yeah.
And the narrator spends Christmas with her family, but Graham calls her and they share a warm, subtly flirtatious conversation. So then back into 1847, 10 Inuits board the ship. A crew member attempts to explain the accidental killing. The dead man's wife appears and Graham is haunted by her expression. Then we jump to present day, and the narrator attends a ceremony marking Graham and Cardingham's acceptance into the field agent training. Quentin appears unexpectedly in the crowd and slips the narrator a folder. And before he can explain what it is or what's going on, he's killed, like mid-movement.
Like snipered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Murked.
Yes.
Assassinated.
She gets shot in the head. There's blood all over the narrator. It's just gruesome moment. And she tells the police it must have been a sniper because she didn't see anybody nearby, and the blood just kind of splattered everywhere. It's
covering me.
It's covering her. She's traumatized by it. And so at home, she breaks down from the trauma of witnessing Quentin's murder.
To Graham, right? It's like she's...
Yeah, she's telling
having a
him
moment.
like what happened, and she was terrified by it. So the folder Quentin gave her contains an 18-month-old report describing police discovery of 5 dead teenagers, a blue door, and a machine beyond it. Security around expats and bridges tightens significantly, and expats lose their travel privileges.
It's weird. It's like the ministry is treating like, oh, we don't know how Quentin died or who killed Quentin. So for everyone's protection, we're tightening up.
And everybody gets put on
But
lockdown.
it's really not that.
Right.
Yeah.
Graham and the narrator are like stuck in their house. Adela
truly stuck.
Yeah, now
You
they
can't even
really
go out for a
cannot
bike
go.
ride.
No. So Adela instructs the narrator to begin training again for the field agent aptitude exams. And the narrator develops severe depression and struggles to function because she's locked in this house.
She witnessed a murder.
And there's no therapy. There's nothing to kind of work her through it. And now she's locked inside, no sunshine. And so it's really taking a toll on her mental health. And Graham supports her by encouraging routines, exercise, sunlight, and shared meals. He's like, let's just do this together, and hopefully that will help. I think at one point he even tells her, I know we're supposed to be inside, but let's go for a bike ride. Like, I know we're not supposed to, but let's just go do it. You need this, right?
They ride very far to a place that's like a field to watch the sunset or something.
Because they need it. And so the narrator learns Maggie had been locked in an attic when she was extracted due to having the bubonic plague. And Somalia...
It was so crazy. Like her whole family died and she was trapped in that attic. And how she died in history was that she like starved to death.
'Cause
Up
she
in
was-
that attic.
Were they trying to quarantine her? Is that why they had her up there?
Yes, but then everybody else in the house that quarantined her died.
she
And
couldn't
so
get
that
out.
no one's going to go into the house for the dead bodies and nobody knew she was up there. But she survived the plague. And then a common cold almost fucking took her out again.
Right? So Somalia visits, clearly distressed and seeking connection, but the narrator barely engages with her. The narrator learns that 1793 Anne Spencer was shot while attempting to escape the ministry. And the ministry tells the remaining expats that she died by suicide. So they're lying to the people about what's actually
So the narrator is privy to all of the documents that are coming in. So she knows the behind the scenes.
Because she's like accessing them?
She has
Is she, like,
access
supposed to?
because she's a bridge. So she has access to all this private information. But they're only telling their expats a small piece or different information.
Yes.
And she is very much a company woman. So she does not. She tells Graham what she's supposed to, not necessarily what's real.
The narrator investigates Quentin's death and discovers her own fingerprint in the log of a sabotage surveillance system. She's like, what the hell? Why are my fingerprints on here? Like, I had nothing to do with this. Realizing she's being framed, she suspects the brigadier. So one night, she and Graham encounter the brigadier and Celise outside a bar. They attempt to kill the narrator and Graham using a weapon that emits blue light. It's like a lightsaber.
I'm glad you thought of that. I don't know what I thought. I just thought,
was there like swinging it around? Graham and the narrator fight back and escape on Graham's motorcycle. After returning home, intoxicated and shaken, the narrator kisses Graham, and it is a messy ass, like super sloppy.
Their teeth are pushing on
like,
each other.
because he doesn't know how to kiss a woman. He's only fucked a man.
And Graham is initially stunned, but then returns to kiss passionately. The bridge kisses him. Surprisingly, catches him off guard, and then he like loses all control of his body and just attacks her, savages her body, and then just grinds his teeth all up in there.
When you're reading it, listening to it, it's not a very comfortable kiss.
No, it's super uncomfortable. And when the narrator tries to take things further, Graham panics. He stops her and he locks himself in his bedroom. He like takes off and she's like
a real longing for her.
Well, it was like, now I freak out because, oh shit, we're about to do more and I don't know what I'm doing. So actually, never mind, just kidding.
All right, so then it's My Chumps, interlude 7 through chapter 8. We start with this interlude. In 1847, Graham and a group of men walked to Cape Felix. He struggles to keep the men from giving into despair.
Killing
He's very
themselves.
positive. He's like, come on, team, we've got this.
We've only got 700 more miles to go.
We can definitely make it. At Cape Felix, a flash of lightning appears and Graham is extracted through a doorway. We're back in present day. After the attack, the ministry relocates all expats and bridges to new safe houses. Adela gives the narrator a gun. The narrator confronts Graham about his behavior following the kiss. He says the kiss should not have happened, but admits he has been trying to court her. He's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what can I offer you as a man that you would want, right? Because it's all like a
You're such a modern woman.
Well, yeah, because he's like, you work, you make your own money, you have your own house. Like,
Why would
what
you
am
ever
I
wanna be
going
with
to
me?
offer you?
Because in his day, it's very transactional. So it's like, I don't know what I could do. And she's like, just...
Be a partner?
Yeah. Explaining he doesn't understand modern women. He's frustrated. Frustrated, the narrator asks him what he wants. He tells her to undress.
Suddenly, he's got some cojones.
I want you to be naked. I want to see
what
those
do you want?
ripe titties.
I want to see the ripe titties.
Why do they gotta be ripe?
They have them.
It really is the most awkward sex scene.
While the narrator guides Graham. And
It's weird because they're like trying to get in there, and he's like, and I do what? And she's like, and then you put this here, and he's like, oh, okay. And it's like, why?
It doesn't make any sense because like you've done something before.
Yes.
Even if you
It's like, I'm unfamiliar with these folds.
But I think though, like after it happens, she tells him like,
folds. Oh, I spit.
there is no way that you've never done anything before because you've
In
had
his time,
some
they haven't.
experience.
I think he says at one point, like, even if I was going to like attempt to do that, I would never then make that woman my wife because I dishonored her by fondling her folds in any sort of fashion.
Yeah, but we already
before
know she's
matrimony.
not an
at
honest
least a
woman.
man.
Yeah, but that's why she says like
that has
you've
nothing
done
to do
something
with folds and matrimony. It's right there.
Yeah, but I know it goes in a hole.
That's just like primal.
Right? Like,
That's just primal instinct. Like your body just knows.
yeah. I don't know. I guess
I
I,
think
don't
at
know
some
what
point
the 1800s
instinct
were
really
like,
kicks
but
in though. I do think your instincts kick in and
But
you
he's just
figure it out.
Animalistic instinct.
Yes, you figure it out. But it is
put it in a hole
super
before.
awkward.
I'm just gonna put. Which hole does it go in? Which one? This one? This one?
You got two, bitch. I don't know. They're stacked.
This one doesn't want to go in a little bit. Let me try the next one.
It is
But then
very,
he
very
also
awkward.
is like, "Do you like that?"
Yeah.
She's like, and he talks the whole fucking time.
I'm surprised she didn't tell him, like,
says,
shut
like-
up and just move.
Like later, she's like, "Yeah, he likes to have conversations during sex." Like,
He's
it's-
like, "What are we
when
gonna
is
do with dinner tonight?" She's just like,
This is the best.
"I love soup. I love you." It is the most British sex I have ever listened to.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. This was the book that I'm like, listening to. I'm like, what? Even when you get to the sexy part, it's like the narrator reading it is like, he then put it in, oh, baby. It's like so.
The whole book is monotone.
Did this just happen? Did it happen? Are they having sex? I don't even know.
You wouldn't know by the tone of her voice.
The next day, the narrator meets with Adela. Adela explains the brigadier is from the future, but he needs to kill a current free traveler to create space in the time door. Because again, we're not going to explain to you how time travel works in this world, but we're going to say shit like we have to create space.
Like only so many bodies can be in the process of time traveling, and you have to kill a
And
different
we've met our limit, so we
Yeah.
have to kill someone.
in order for them to be space to get in.
It's weird.
But they killed that one bitch, Anne. So I don't know why there's not space.
Oh, no, I don't even remember any of that.
Back at the safe house, Graham and the narrator's relationship deepens. Mm-hmm. Sexually.
Yeah, they're like jackrabbits now.
But monotone, very conversational jackrabbits.
When you sent me that.
Oh, I sent you a clip from Family Guy, and it was two British people having sex, and it was like, righto, and she was like, pip, and then it was done.
It's very that. Interlude, April 1848. Graham has been missing and presumed dead for 8 months. The remaining men abandon the ships and attempt an 800-mile march towards civilization. Inuit natives try to help them, but the men are too weak. Only about 30 men reach the final camp, with still hundreds of miles from safety. This becomes known as Starvation Cove.
And they have like a whole museum about this expedition and about these men starving to death.
Yeah. In present day, the ministry begins transferring its most sensitive data to a new server. The narrator notices the ministry focuses far more on Graham and Cardingham than Arthur and Maggie. Adela urges the narrator to enroll in combat training. And so she does. She starts like practicing and fighting Adela. The narrator takes Graham to see a memorial for his expedition. Afterwards, the two head home and make love together. Still awkward. Afterwards, the narrator sees Adela called twice and sends a text instructing her to come in immediately.
And then we're going to round out this book with Interlude 9 through Chapter 10. Interlude is May of 1859. Another Arctic expedition was trapped on ice for 8 months. Lieutenant Hobson discovers Cape Felix and evidence of rapid abandonment by Graham's men. So he's coming in 10, 15 years later after the starvation episode, and he finds a note left by Graham and his crew. Back in the present, Adela urgently warns the narrator she's in danger, and Adela explains there's a mole. She believes Quentin was the mole and had him neutralized. Graham reports that something happened to Maggie, so he goes to check it out, and at Maggie's safe house, her bridge and her girlfriend are dead. Graham, Arthur, and Maggie all had this. Graham was like prepared, and he talked to these guys, and he's like, if some shit goes down, we have a meeting point in underground tunnels. Like, he set up an escape plan for the expats.
So they did already have this conversation. So Adela's telling her a little bit of the story, and she does make a comment like, oh, did you already tell Graham about 9/11? She's like, no, I told him about Auschwitz.
Oh, because she makes like an offhanded comment, and he's like, what is that? And she's like, fuck. So she explains.
And he's like traumatized by it and has a really hard time for a little while. And then later now, Adela's talking about it like, oh, you told him about 9/11. And she's like, no, I told him about Auschwitz. What do you mean? And she's like, you didn't tell him about 9/11? No. She's like, okay. And like, that's it.
So then at Arthur's house, they discover he's already dead. And it is very sad because Arthur was a very good friend to them. And so they locate Maggie in the tunnels, and Cardingham arrives shortly afterwards. The narrator realizes the mole can track them via the microchips that are in the expats.
Like, she knew about it and she could feel it while they're having sex. She's like, there's that microchip we planted in him.
And she knows it the whole time, but she never tells them that. And then while they're hiding,
he makes comments about it like, how do they know where I was? How do they know that I left?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know.
That's weird.
I love you, though.
I love you. And then she tells them, she's like, I got to tell you guys something. There's microchips in you. And admits that she's known about them all along. Graham is enraged while Maggie forgives her, and they remove the microchips with the scalpel and throw them into the river the next morning. But at that point, Graham's like, you're dead to me. You need to get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
You knew about all of this. Yes. The next morning, the narrator contacts Adela. And she promises to send a SWAT team to like extract them where they're hiding. She also instructs the narrator to meet her immediately. The narrator, being the proper little government girl, she just sends them the location. Like, well, we're here. Come get us. Yeah, I love this. You just told me you killed someone to neutralize them, but please come here now.
Yeah.
Yes, you mean all the right
now
things.
Arthur's dead, but I'm sure Adela's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she arrives to find Adela with the Brigadier and Celise, who has a blue light weapon aimed at her. They reveal that Adela is the narrator's future self. And Adela explains that these events have happened multiple times, but have definitely happened at least once before, and that she has a son named Arthur John Gore. Like, let that sink in. Graham Gore. Our child's name is Arthur John Gore. And Adela and the narrator attack, killing Celise, but the Brigadier escapes. So Adela explains that she marries Graham in the future timeline. Graham and Cardingham suddenly arrive and hold the narrator and Adela at gunpoint.
But there's a lot more to that, because it's not just like, hey, I'm your future self. It's like, I'm pretty sure the history has already tweaked, because I told Graham about 9/11 and you told Graham about Auschwitz. And in my timeline, Maggie died. Both Arthur and Maggie died, and you still have Maggie.
Yes.
So I don't know exactly what's going to happen next. You're on a different timeline.
Yeah, and she's come back several times. So she's like, we don't know what's going to happen in this specific timeline. Graham is believing that the women are conspiring against him, so they confront them. And Adela urges the narrator to run.
Because they do talk
like,
a
"I'm
lot
gonna
about
save
like
you."
going back and changing the future, and they try to like say like,
You're
oh
not going
no,
to,
you
because you're
can't
just
do
taking
that.
them
Like
out of-
you're not changing the future, because you're just moving somebody, and you can't like. They talk about many times about how you can't change the future because of whatever happens, and like
you
you're
can't
not
change history, because history is not the people. It's the
events, and it's how it happened. Like, and then this here is telling you that no, you can change the future every time you come
Clearly.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it jumps back to the interlude, and after his extraction, Graham is held by the ministry and Phil's imprisoned. This is like right after his extraction. He initially views the ministry as his captors, and Graham believes that God has brought him and the narrator together as a chance for redemption. Like, these are his thoughts right after he becomes an expat. In the present, acting on Adela's instructions, the narrator goes to the ministry to shut down the expat project. She encounters Semelia and discovers she is the mole, holding the narrator at gunpoint. The narrator disarms her because she's been taking these classes and now she knows how to kick an ass or two. And she forces her towards the time door, and the narrator empties her gun at the time door machine, and it really doesn't do a damn thing.
She's trying to like break it.
Yes. But then the Brigadier like collapses inward and like implodes on himself. And the narrator returns to her safe house, finding Graham waiting at gunpoint for her. He no longer trusts her, obviously. He forces her to delete all the expat files from her laptop, and he leaves with Maggie and warns her not to follow them. The narrator is arrested at that point, and 6 days later meets with the ministry secretary. She knew Adela was from the future and authorized the expat project. So she believes Semelia attempted to destroy the time door but failed. Graham and Maggie escaped.
Because they don't know that it was actually the narrator that shot into the
Yes.
doorway. They're just like, Semelia.
Cardingham is later captured but cooperates with the ministry. Graham and Maggie are on the lam, and the narrator is permanently barred from working for the ministry, so she moves back in with her parents. The ministry confiscated everything connected to Graham. So she had a ministry phone with all of the pictures of them together. That's gone. She only has her little shitty flip phone that doesn't have any photos. So everything that was tying her to Graham is gone. She has no memory, no physical memories of it.
And they didn't kill her because they still believe that her like future self is going to be an important piece to the ministry.
Yes, like
'Cause
she's
she's
too
been
important
powerful.
to get rid of. She eventually finds work as a freelance proofreader, and over time, her depression becomes more manageable, and she receives a package from Gran containing her copy of Rogue Mail and a photo of a field by a lake. A handwritten note simply says, "Of course I loved you."
Because she asked him.
Yes, when he's at gunpoint, like, "Did you ever love me?" And then he takes off. The photo, she like does some deducing and realizes the photo's from Alaska, possibly Anchorage, and she decides to go look for him. And the novel ends with a note she writes to her past self, urging better choices to create a better future.
The way that it ended, I actually did. It was like, oh, but I almost want to read the next book. Let's get into our ratings then. So for all of our listeners, we rate our books on a 3-shot system. 1 shot, I'm not coming back for more. 2 shots, it's good enough for another, but not worth the hangover. And 3 shots, it got me up. Biatch.
I really struggle with this rating because I listened to the book and I almost want to read just the physical copy because the voice narration was so monotone and so hard to get through. It wasn't until I was summarizing that I understood what was happening in the interludes. Like, I want this to be a better book than it was. I think because of the way I listened to it, I'm going to give it 1, but I think it really has the potential to be more.
It's like it was a gentle letdown.
It was a hard letdown.
I go next because I agree. I think that because I chose to listen to this book, the audio voice, like especially going from a book like Dungeon Crawler Carl to Ministry of Time, it really shows what a good voice actor can do for a book.
Oh,
yes.
sure.
And this was not, there were a lot of things about the book that I don't think I would look like even if I read it. But the premise of the book is there. It's like, it has so much potential.
Yes.
Like it could be a really good book. The story, and even reading the summaries, it's like, yeah, that was a cool piece of it, right?
Yes.
The reveal that Adela was the narrator, which we don't know her name, so I forgot. But yeah, there was just a lot about the book that I wasn't even picking up on because the voice was so monotone. I agree. I'd like to give it another chance. But based solely on the fact that I did listen to it, I'm giving it a 1 shot. I think that I would say if you're debating on reading this book, it's not like a hard one. Don't listen to it. Don't even give it a chance. But definitely read the physical
Yeah,
copy.
don't listen to this, but this is not a prime audiobook. This needs to be read. And I think it does have the potential to be a 2 if I would have read it instead of listened.
I agree.
I'll give it a 1, but honestly, going through the chumps, I was like, actually, this isn't half bad.
Right? When you listen to the summary, it has good bones.
The chumps made it sound way, like your guys' storytelling made it way more interesting than the actual audio narrator, because I was going through going, actually, wow, that sounds, yeah, I remember this now. And actually, yes, it's kind of a big piece. But then you are listening to it and you're like, God, this woman's putting me to sleep.
And she talks a lot about like British history and you start to lose me there too. So I think even if I was reading it, I think there would be parts where I'd be like, oh, this is really a slow piece of this book.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
it'll
I'm saying.
have slow parts.
I don't know that I would even try to read it because
Yeah.
I feel like it'd probably lose me a little, and then I'd have to go back and reread, like, damn, did I miss something? Because that was stupid.
Yeah.
So, 1.
Yeah, I think that I can understand the hype around it because I do think the storyline and the premise of the book are actually pretty good. But boy, was it hard to get through.
It was so hard, and it makes me very sad.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I agree. All right. That's a wrap on this episode of Literature on the Rocks. Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley took us on a journey, and while it was not always a smooth and exciting journey, it is definitely discussion worthy. The prompts are posted now, so make sure to answer them before next week's book club, where we'll unpack it all. So subscribe now because we're here for you every Wednesday.
If this story lingered longer than your last cocktail, which it probably did, rate and review the show. It helps fellow readers discover books that travel through time and stick with you long after the final page.
History, heart, and high-stakes secrecy. The Ministry of Time certainly leaves an impression. Follow at Lit on the Rocks Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and visit literatureontherocks.com.
Until next time, may your timeline stay interesting and your cocktails not taste like aluminum. Cheers!
Toodaloo!
Bye.